everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you might be joining us from in the world today. My name is Meg Alexander. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am incredibly excited to get to host another Power to Fly virtual event. Now, we are going to be talking today about from smartphones to smart cities. We're going to be discussing the Internet of Things, or IoT, with ThankGod Nkoro, who's an electrical engineer and STEM ambassador, as well as being a Climate Action Project Educator. Now, before we dive into our audience, or into our questions or introduce you to the speaker yet, I just want to go over real quick our code of conduct. Now, this looks like a big scary wall of legalese, but what it boils down to is just don't act like a jerk, okay? As long as we navigate from a place of kindness and respect, it's pretty hard to go wrong from there. But if you have questions, you want more details about the code of conduct, you can always reach out in the chat box. I'm in there. You can find my name in the dropdown, Meg Alexander. You can always reach out to our help desk inbox as well. That email is hi@powertofly.com. All right, now I'm very excited to go into today's housekeeping. This will all be especially important for you if today is your first event with Power to Fly. And if that's the case, then hi, welcome. We're so happy to see you. Now, the love is no less real for my frequent flyers. Thank you all so, so much for joining us. I love seeing your familiar names and faces and avatars in the chat. So thank you to everyone who took time out of their day to be here with us live. Now, the big thing to know about Power to Fly events is participation. You are always encouraged to participate in a number of different ways, depending on how you like to interact with us. So if you'd like, I very much encourage you to turn your cameras on, share your smiling, maskless faces with us safely, but there is no need to look Instagram perfect, okay? I'm on like the day 4 at least of the dry shampoo messy bun combo. So whether you are coming to us from a corner office or your living room couch, it makes no difference to us, okay? Rock up in a three-piece suit or your bathrobe. We are still here to learn and grow together. So thank you all so, so much for joining us. Now, if you do want to participate in today's event, but you don't want to come on the recording, you don't want to turn on your camera, that's okay, y'all, totally fine. What you can do is you can hop into the group chat. I very much encourage y'all to dive in there to network with your fellow attendees here today and really make the most out of today's event. This is also a place where you can send in questions. So if anything that Thank God says today is like kind of piques your interest, or you want more details, please feel free to add those questions into the chat box. Like I said, you can send in questions in the main chat, or if you have a question that you would like raised, but you want to be kept anonymous, just DM your question to me instead of sending it in the dropdown. I will ask your question and keep you off the radar. Now, the last thing to note for today's event is that we are recording this as well as live streaming to YouTube. Hi, YouTube. So what this means for all of you is you don't have to take notes. You get to sit back, relax, enjoy the conversation I'm about to have with Thank God, and not worry if you miss a resource that's shared, a link that's listed, any of that good stuff, okay? Now, what that means is in about 4 to 5 business days, everybody that registered for today's event, whether you came to join us or not, everybody's going to get an email from powertofly.com. It's going to have a link to where you can rewatch this recording when we post it live on powertofly.com. Now, let's say that Thank God shares something today that is absolutely like mind-blowing, paradigm shifting, and you cannot wait 4 to 5 business days to tell a friend or a coworker or a relative. You don't have to. You can always head over to our YouTube channel. I'm going to share links for all of this as we go, but I'm flying solo today, y'all, so links will be coming in a minute. But you can head over to our YouTube channel. The videos are posted usually by end of day, same day. And there is a whole library of some of our best hits, our greatest, most requested chats are stored on our YouTube channel there as well. So like I said, I'll send links in the chat for all of this so y'all can check it out. Just give me a minute to get through the intro before I start sending links. Definitely check out check out the YouTube channel. It's a really great collection of some of our best hits. But I also very much recommend, if you've never been on the website, definitely check that out. Okay, that is where the full resources live, all of our free resources entirely for free for all of you. Okay, so please feel free to check that out. Now, as we go through today's session, like I said, if you have questions, please feel free to send those ahead in the chat box. And I do want to real quick answer any questions in case anybody's not familiar with Power to Fly or who we are. So Power to Fly is a women-led organization. We are I mean, I call us kind of a jack of all trades, but basically, we are a woman-led company. We're backed by Morgan Stanley. We have over 200 million plus professionals in our network, and our mission is to help organizations to attract top talent as well as retain engaged employees with solutions that simplify recruitment, enhance employee satisfaction, and drive long-term business success. Now, we have also been at the forefront of the future of work and remain huge advocates for remote work, hosting thousands of remote roles as well as in-person opportunities on our website. Now, I was part of the talent community from 2014 through 2019 when I got my first remote role working for Power to Fly. So I can personally tell you this community is amazing, and the kinds of things it can do for you and the places that it can take you are places you probably haven't even thought of yet. Because when I joined in 2014, this was not a thing. Okay. This was not even a job. So very, 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 I obviously drank the Power Fly Kool-Aid, but I very much hope that y'all will join me in checking out this amazing organization. Okay. All right. Now to the main event for today's speaker. We're going to be talking to ThankGod Nkoro. And ThankGod is an electrical engineer, a member of the Institute of Engineering Technology. He's also a STEM ambassador and a climate project educator with 3 years of experience. ThankGod has also been an ambassador to several organizations in the past and present. ThankGod, welcome to our stage. I know you told me you are in the UK currently. I do want everybody else also share with us. Let us know where you're joining us from. I'm coming to you from Toledo, Ohio. This is land that belonged to the Fox, Kickapoo, and Potawatomi tribes in my area. So please feel free to let us know where you're joining from, and if you know, whose land you're on. All right, ThankGod. What would you like our audience members to know about you before we dive into questions today?
So one of the things I would like my audience to know about me is I'm very optimistic and I'm very creative. Especially I'm always curious to learn new things. Every single now and then I always find ways to keep enhancing because learning never ends. So I always find myself in spaces of intelligent people and trying to build a community of same similar similar background, subject cases. Mm.
I love that. I think curiosity and encouraging that own curiosity in ourselves and in the people around us is one of the most fabulous things because if you're seeing somebody tell you about something that they were curious about and that's why they learned it,
Yeah,
I don't know if you've noticed this, but like they give you the information differently. People that are excited about knowledge are
yeah,
different than people that are just passing it along, right? I love
yes.
that. Oh, love that. Okay. All right. So let's get started. We have a limited amount of time today.
Mm.
What does a typical career path look like for an electrical engineer, especially if you want to work in the Internet of Things?
So first of all, I'll say thank you, Meg, for introducing me and with all the all the background explanations. Thank you so much. So for the first question, I would say that for a typical career path, first things first is that you need to, like I said before, I'm curious, I'm optimistic. But for, let's say, an undergraduate student or someone in college, one of the first things you experience is making prototypes of circuit, power circuits, small circuits. For instance, you have what's it called, fire alarm systems, and you see yourself designing, being involved in between using softwares like Pro Tools, like Workbench and the rest of them to create circuits and to import models into real life designs. And another thing I would say is prioritize learning programming, C programming, and with C programming skill and C++, you'll be able to use softwares like Arduino, which is more like it's a software where chip microcontrollers are being programmed into robotics. And with that, um, you're learning one skill at a time, building those skills over time would definitely get you a good ground to start up a career in electrical engineering. And also, with the Internet of Things too, you'll be able to understand how systems work from the foundation levels up to how it's being manifested in realistic use.
I like that. Are there any skills that you wish you had picked up first, as you were entering into this field, now that you were able to kind of look back a little bit?
Yeah, I would say one of the first skills, I would say it's because most of the time students are not really told, for instance, because students are not really told what skills they will need to learn, but rather they're told about competence values, how they will build a team, how they will make a project. But one of the skills I would say I couldn't learn on time was programming, right? So it's programming, starting from assembly language up to C programming, C++, Python. So as one that keeps learning and keeps growing from one level to another in career building, you get to encounter the use of these programming softwares or programming language, I mean, into use, especially building robots and also building automated systems. So you definitely get to use these softwares to this programming language to do those things. And with time, when you keep practicing, the more you practice, the more you get more skilled in it because practice makes you to encounter challenges, right? New examples, new projects. You keep developing and enhancing the more you keep doing it. So I would say those are the, but now I'm good with them. But as at that time, when I started uh, college, I wasn't able to know these things until I started facing real life problems, especially when I went to internship. Then I started understanding why there is need to learn these skills on time.
Yeah, yeah, that tracks. Did you have any misconceptions about working in IoT before you got into the field? Was there anything that you were expecting and what surprised you?
One of the things till date that surprises me is that I felt maybe as an engineer, you're like a magician. You just, just cut wires and roll up cables. But it's those are like the technician part of things, of how things work. But in real life, in either office based or on site, you tend to see encounter physical world challenges constantly. For instance, the technician might come to you as the engineer, or I need to, we don't know what's happened to the inverter, it just stopped working. And all you have is just your single line diagram. Single line diagram is just um, drawings that tells you you could be able to use them to interpret the system of things, maybe the inverter circuit diagram. So as an engineer, you need to think above the technician. You need to think above what you already know in the classroom that you've learned. You need to think above what do I do now in the space? Because at that moment, Google will not help you because many things we solve on site is not on Google. So, like for instance, we once chased an erratic cell voltage reading across a battery energy storage system for like 2 days, only to find out that the bus bar bolt was slightly loosed. So you can imagine the bus bar bolt was just slightly loosed, and that could cause a lot of problems because the bus bar is like interconnection of cables from one system from to another. So that is where all the cables they pass through to other battery energy systems. So, and we have what we call DNO system. So that's where you sort of regulate voltages and things like that. So every switch, every panel has their own control systems in the DNO, that's distribution network operation. So, so we figured that out, and we're able to, um, you know, continue with the whole testing and diagnostics of the entire system. So slight little bits of things like that could cause a whole lot of damage to to a system. And you know, no matter who you call like an expert, they can't solve such problems except is you pay attention to details. I mean, you
Mhm.
definitely see the answers in between.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it kind of tracks back to what you were saying, right? About you want that practice so that way when you are faced with a complication in the
Mm,
field, it's not the first time you've seen that complication. And it can be a little bit more of like this last time. It's that experience that,
yeah,
we're all desperately trying to get. So
yes.
I think it is really, I really appreciate that. There are some things you just have to kind of learn as you go, but I really appreciate the hindsight here. It's really helpful.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
what do you think has been the most rewarding project or moment in your career so far?
At the moment, there is this project in Scotland I've been involved in. When I got into the industry, it was halfway through. So, one of the things I would say I've been able to do concerning that project is the panel systems, the arrangements, the cable sizes, the low voltage room, the DNO, which I've mentioned a few times. The DNO room, that's the distribution network of operation room, and also the medium voltage panels. So those they are like in containers. So, but cables, underground cables run through them, interconnect interconnectedly in between them, and those were the things I'm able to say yes for the past 8 months because I'm still new in the industry. But over time, I've been practicing in the background before I go into the industry. So that's electrical engineering. So over time, um, moving in and doing those designs, seeing them that yeah, it's been built up physically, and seeing going on site and seeing them by myself that I've done this, I've built this, I've designed this, I've provided specifications for these cables. I've been able to provide, speak with the customer, speak with the clients, and to be able to build this to real life. It's amazing. It's amazing. So it's different from when someone is building a house, but I'm actually feeding a community with what they need. It's 33 kV battery energy storage system that I'm talking about. So it's massive. So I was so happy when I went to site the first time with one of my supervisors and I saw it. I'm like, yeah, this is good. So this is really good, and that's one of the things I'm proud of so far. And
That's
given that
awesome.
some leadership experiences I've had so far in climate projects, and that is with the Kenya Green Student Initiative Forum. Yeah, so having that collaborative interactions and contributions with their leaders in promoting green and sustainability initiative is really impactful so far.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't do internet connectivity. I am a cake decorator in my spare time, and I know how proud I am of a perfectly like normal, but like, oh, that cake took me so long, and I had all of these like techniques that I used on, and blah blah blah. You're making a cake that people can walk inside of, and that connects them to things that they want to be connected to. I can't imagine, like, you must have been bursting with pride, and you should have been because that is awesome. I love this. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Now, IoT, this evolves really quickly. Obviously, most tech fields do. How do you stay current in your field and how do you decide what's worth learning when there are new things happening every day?
Recently I participated in the Hanesi Mansi in Germany online. I was not present. So it's about how AI technology, what's the new trend, what's going on in the industry, what Siemens. Siemens was the pioneer for the event. They were the host actually. I think this should be the first time they're hosting that in Germany. So, but I attended that and I sort of had insights on what's going to be in the next 10 years, using artificial intelligence to build industries, to build capacity, and to make the world a better place. And people, company directors, technologists, engineers, they brought prototype on stage, live on stage, to show us, to explain to the audience, to the people across the world how it works. Amazon was there. Lots of big companies, Toyota, Shell. It's massive. Then aside that, I also sort of go out of my comfort zone to places like London, where we have tech conferences that are always being hosted every now and then, cybersecurity. So I tend to feed myself into those spaces, aside the networking advantage and the social advantage, but to gain more knowledge and to know, okay, this is what's going to happen and how can I make this possible in where I'm working at, aside just consuming those knowledge. So I sort of gain more insights from there and move on to the next thing.
I like that. Okay. Um, you talked a little bit about being involved with environmental projects. How is IoT being used to directly support climate action, and how did you personally get involved in that space? This is something that, if it does, if you think it don't, if you think it doesn't concern you, you're probably wrong. But I think that this is a fascinating area. How did this all come about for you?
It came about for me out of curiosity. So one of the ways is I had this when I was in school, in university. I had this watch that could check my footsteps, like 10,000 steps, and so I wasn't sure of what it does as at that time. I wasn't really sure of what it does till I discovered I just bought the watch, like smartwatch. Okay, cool, it's fine. But the operational system of the advantage of having that as a as an IoT that's to monitor and to track my footsteps was what I wasn't really concerned about. So until a period of time when uh, I had to I had to travel to somewhere around Southampton, and I discovered that before the ships come into the bay, it takes quite a lot of struggle, and also I was able to speak with one of the captains. Okay, how do you manage to get across the seashore with all of these cargoes, with all of these goods? So he explained to me the challenges of the weather, and I sort of now remembered I had a smartwatch that could tell me the weather and that could tell me, procrastinate things, like predict things about weather, about how things, if it's going to rain, it tells me. If I'm to set an alarm, it actually does that comfortably, from just on my palms there. So from that moment onwards, I became more curious about finding out what it was and how to build sustainable system. So I worked with the Climate Take Action Global, which is based in the United States, for a period of 2, 3 years. So I had to when I worked with them, we had this community program where we teach people how to plant, young people in schools, how to plant trees, how in a little garden. That was how it all started, out of curiosity. Then I also implemented a metric system of how the students could be able to check, okay, 2 days, 1 week, 1 month progressiveness of the plants they grow. So with that time tracker, that also helped me to understand and enjoy what I was doing. So onwards, and that it has been really productive. Yes, I would say.
That's wonderful. I think, like you said, it's all about following the curiosity, looking around at the world around you and seeing where the possibilities might be, just, in your own little fishbowl. So I think that is absolutely wonderful. Okay, couple questions left here. Um, let's talk a little bit about the connectivity angle. Because for a lot of people, the Internet of Things maybe doesn't quite ring to them, like they might not quite get it. How do
Mm.
sensors, connectivity, and data work together to turn an ordinary device like your watch into a smart, responsive system? So if somebody doesn't quite understand how this all goes together, could you give us a really high level breakdown?
Okay, I'll go low level because many people some people maybe on the call may not be like into tech that much, but I would say just give an example between your computer and your smartphone. You're able to transfer data and you're able to see it on the display screen, and you're able to have that data on your phone as well, and you're able to see it as well. So, what is the link between your computer and your phone? Is wireless network, right? Wireless network. The Bluetooth was one of the first Internet of Things we could ever see. Without internet, without effortlessly. But it takes, if it's for a big file, it takes quite some time before we moved over to using Wi-Fi to transfer data from one source to another. So I would say that using such examples, like the Bluetooth, which is still in good use today, that actually is one of the ways whereby we also implement it on in smart home systems, using your phone to monitor your house camera wirelessly, so using internet. So those things they deal with connectivity, as you mentioned, and those models, and it does with long range of wide area network, which carries that data in bulk. So for you to see the colors, for you to see the display, it takes a whole lot of data to see those reflections of what you can be able to see through your phone while you're away, while your camera is on your front door. So those two examples are just a clear way of how we can be able to manage our device, our phones, and be able to transfer data to see real life data from just our fingertips.
Excellent. Oh, so, so cool. All right. In the last minute we have, I just want to say a really quick thank you. This has been really, really wonderful. I love getting to chat with you and learn a little bit more about the Internet of Things. If people only take one thing from today's session and they only remember one thing, what do you want that one thing they take with them to be?
I would say keep learning, keep learning. The world keeps evolving every day, and you don't hold back into embracing new technology. You don't hold back, because if you hold back, you'll be left out in understanding more of how where the world is moving to. So keep learning, and keep getting more curious about new technology, and how it will impact humanity in the nearest future.
I love that message. Thank you. Thank God. This has been really, really great. And I want to say a massive thank you to our audience members as well. Thank you so, so much to everybody who took time out of their day to be here with us live. And a massive thank you to anybody else who is watching or rewatching this after the fact. Thanks so much for spending time with Powerfly and great people like ThankGod Nkoro. That's going to be it for us today, but I hope y'all go out and have the day that you deserve, have the day that you voted for, and be nice. All right, do something nice for somebody around you. I think that, might be the cure for this gray, rainy day in Ohio. So that's going to be it from us today, but we cannot wait to see y'all back here for another great event soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.